Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're doing really well. Today I wanted to talk a little bit more about kind of my health journey over the last, well, in 2024 is when I basically decided to make a change, and that was specific about my weight but also my health as well, and I think the two obviously go so hand in hand. And yeah, over a 6-month period, if not a little bit less than that, I lost 3 stone, which was such a huge accomplishment for me because I've tried diets and fad things and try this and intermittent fasting and all things like that, but the way I've done my kind of weight loss is very considered, and it's very healthy, and there's really mainly just 3 core components to how I lost this weight in a really healthy way. And I would never want to sit here, you know, I have had family members that have really struggled with weight and eating disorders, and I think it's a real responsibility to put, you know, material on the internet that you are happy to stand by. Whereas the way that I have kind of reconfigured the way that I have decided to lose weight, like I say, I'm really pleased about how I've done that because it's maintained a really healthy approach. I haven't restricted myself of anything. I've been more considered, but I've still had chocolate along the way, crisps, you know, all of these different things. I haven't been hitting the gym every day, like things like that that you almost feel like are absolutely essential, or you know, you think, well, I'll start this on Monday or anything like that. So I just wanted to sit down and talk you through how I basically lost 3 stone over that period of time and kind of what tools I've used. None of this is affiliated in any way. It's just me wanting to share with you my journey because I think hopefully it will help another person. This isn't my usual style of content. I usually do hair care videos, and I've recently tried an amazing product which has made my hair super glossy. But yeah, it's one of those that I think, you know, I talk a lot about it in my personal life because it's been such a transformation of a journey for me. So, you know, my YouTube channel is just my life online. So I really want to talk about the different things that I have done. So like I said, my health journey has been split into 3 different things, or 3 considerations that perhaps I didn't put as much focus in before. One certainly not, but the 2 others not enough. So first of all, it's been in a calorie deficit. You know, if you have tried to take your health seriously over the last couple of years, you've probably heard that phrase used quite a lot. But for me, there's a lot of guesswork in terms of what your actual maintenance calories are, what your calorie deficit is. There's lots of calculators and things like that. So the first thing I did was try to find a tool that would make that really easy for me. Again, none of this is affiliated. I'm literally just sharing with you what I've used and what's worked for me, because you know, I'm the other side of being really happy with where I've got up to. But I downloaded, after looking on the App Store for something that ultimately made counting calories really convenient, and it was an app called Parrot Pal. So the guy that basically runs that and has made this worked with Louisa Thompson on the Turtle Method, if you've ever heard of that. But he's an incredibly, you know, solid person that knows his stuff through and through, and he does like podcasts that are really motivating. But he's built this app that allows you to track calories really easily. So it looks like the interface of a WhatsApp chat, where you can basically type what you've had, you can measure things out and add, you know, the calories, the protein and stuff like that. You can actually voice note it, so you can again do it as you're making it. One of the things I didn't want to do, and you know, it's controversial because some people do it and believe that it's the only way for you to be really accurate, but I didn't want to weigh any of my food out because I don't want to give my children a complex as to why I'm doing things. And also for me, it's less sustainable. I'm not going to weigh out everything. I know that I'm not that kind of person. I also don't want to become a perfectionist with that either. So I wanted to give it a go where there'd be slightly less accuracy, but it would generally, you know, getting in the habit of tracking and being accountable. I wanted to see what that looked like for me, and it worked well. I didn't, you know, I didn't weigh out my food as I was doing things. Yes, that means there's going to be a degree of error, and there's a picture in terms of the accuracy of how you track your calories. Obviously weighing food and know exactly the macros for that is going to be the most accurate, and then this app even has the ability to take a picture of your food. So if you're out and about, so for example, me and Rich went to a weekend away and they had served us food, and I obviously didn't even know what it was called, let alone what was in it. I actually took a picture on the app and it just uploaded it, and I knew that I didn't have to sit there and try and work out what was in it. Like, it was done, the tracking was done. But I've been maintaining tracking my calories now since February, so all of that time it's been really sustainable and I've not missed a day. So I wanted to find an app or a tool that worked for me. What might work for you might be totally different. I did have to pay a yearly subscription for it, but because you have like a 7-day free trial, and I tried it out and I just knew it would just work really well with my lifestyle. So I decided to go for that in terms of calculating calories and what I go in, and that actually gives you a questionnaire and calculates the calories that you're set as your deficit, but also as the weeks go on, if you have like hit all of your like key goals but your weight isn't going down, it changes them for you. So it's always optimizing your weight loss, and it's continuing that momentum, not making you like hit a plateau and thinking now I've got to adjust it myself. It does it for you. So took any guesswork out of it, which I really enjoyed, and my calories did drop for about 200 calories from the start of my journey to the end. So that's been really good to see that progressive change. The second thing is a protein-rich diet. I'm not a gym person. I haven't stepped foot in a gym over the last year, but protein is good for two things. One, it keeps you full for longer. I never realised the impact of that. I used to work in an office where I'd always have snacks by my side. I'd always need a 3 o'clock pick-me-up. My lunch would never keep me full enough, but it's because I wasn't eating the right things. I think for my, especially for my work lunches, because it's really easy to stay in your you know, your diet or your considered lifestyle for a working week. I don't think I've not had a chicken wrap or a chicken pita bread or some sort of chicken something over the last year, but that's just worked really well for me because it's high in protein, it keeps me full, and I don't feel like it's too boring because I can change up the sauces or the bread or something like that. So a high protein thing is really important. I also would eat protein yogurts with fruit. Again, that's much more of a healthier alternative. Like before, I would skip breakfast but then be starving by like midday, and then so I would be snacking, and it just wasn't very healthy. Whereas I'm starting my day really well. I'm getting a really great balanced breakfast that's healthy, protein yogurt and fruit. And that fruit changes, the seasons have changed and what's best in. I just whack it all in my yogurt, mix it all up and eat that. And again, that keeps me full until lunchtime. Then I have my chicken based lunch and that keeps me full until dinner. And even that feels revolutionary for me because I would just be a cereal snacker. I would constantly be picking at like biscuits and things, and you never know until you start tracking calories how many calories are in those things. It's mad. So yeah, protein is the second most important metric. You know, regardless of fats and carbs and all of the other macros, it almost doesn't matter in combination with, as long as your calories are low and your protein is high. And again, this app recommends your protein target, so as long as you're hitting your protein target of your deficit and your calorie target, sorry, of your deficit, and then your protein target of your you know, how much protein you should be eating based on like your body mass and the calories you're eating, those two in combination, the other macros don't matter. And yes, people are going to say, you know, it's better to eat less fats and not, of course, that makes sense, but it can be quite overwhelming when you're trying to track all of these different things and you're not like an athlete. It can just feel, again, it's slightly less sustainable. I know that if I'm just focusing on 2 metrics over like 6, I've got that, like I can do that, that's good for me. So yeah, just trying to eat really healthy where I can, but again, where I've got my calorie target, I can still squeeze in a bit of chocolate if I want to, or if I eat something that's slightly higher in calories throughout the day, then I try and adjust things. And you know, they also say, and you know, Scott who developed the app and the podcast is incredible because he even says, you know, you're going to have like bad days, but that's okay. It's like one day. You don't then need to think, oh, I'll start again on Monday. You just start again the next day and you just think, right, I'm back on it. Or even if you're going away, just enjoy that moment and just get back to it. And I've seen kind of graphs of my journey as I've gone from like starting my health journey to where I'm at now, and there's been peaks and troughs. You know, at first it goes down quite considerably because I never realized I would eat nearly like 2,300 calories a day, and he recommends tracking what you would usually eat in the app first, because then you're seeing where you were before, and then obviously very quickly when you change your lifestyle, your weight goes down quite quickly when your calories are lower. And then I kind of maintained a little bit, and then I went up a little bit when I went away for a weekend and just kind of let myself have that weekend, and I wasn't trying to cut anything out. I still tracked, so I knew my calories were higher, and it's quite incredible how suddenly all of these little bits do add up. But I let myself have that weekend. I very rarely go away for the weekend, especially with my husband, so we just took that time to really enjoy it. So it went up a little bit, but then it's gone back down because I then got back into it and I've got back into the swing of things. So it's been really good to see and very motivating to see my weight down, but also you can see that in comparison to your calories intake, and the same increases go with that. So yeah, it's been really motivating to use that up with those two metrics. And then the other thing is your steps, and those three in combination have just been really successful for me to lose 3 stone in 6 months, which is incredible. My target in the app initially was about 7,000 steps, because before I think I was doing about 4,000 to 5,000 because I would work in an office and it wasn't very, you know, I wasn't very active. I never realized as well, obviously, even if you did like home workouts and things like that, you're still not classed as being active, because if you're sat down for 8 hours a day, you're sat down for 8 hours a day. Yes, you can go up and, you know, I'd make a habit of going out on my lunch break and getting more steps in and just trying to have my active moments where possible. But if I was a teacher, or I was someone that was on my feet all day, you know, like a nurse for example is on their feet all day, you're more active because of it. Whereas if you're in an office and you're sat down for most of your day, that has an impact. So I would just try and get my steps up as much as possible, and it went from a target of 7,000 to now I almost always hit 10,000 steps, which is a huge comparison between, like I said before, I'd hit about 4,000 to 5,000. So I've doubled my step count in a way that's really sustainable, and it's been a really positive outcome because, like I say, those three things in combination have meant that I've gone from like 12 stone 8 to 9 stone 8, and I've never been a size 10 before. I'm now a size 10. I used to be. Obviously I had my second child August of 2023, so naturally that came with a bit of, you know, lack of confidence, because I had a lot of the baby weight and I went through a very stressful time at the beginning of 2024, which didn't help. But I decided to just make a change, and so I've gone from a size 14 on my like bottoms to a 10. Again, all of my clothes, when I'm ordering stuff, it's almost this disbelief of like being the size that I am now, and I'm a pretty confident like 10, but even sometimes like I'll fit into an 8, and that doesn't make sense, because I've always been like a size 12 girly like my whole life, and I've been really proud of that. You know, it's not a case of that I've seen myself as, you know, being bigger than I was necessarily, but it just came with that confidence of wanting to be the best version of myself. And so I decided that, you know what, let's give this a try, but find a way that's going to be really sustainable for me. You know, I haven't done like a liquid diet, I haven't done intermittent fasting, any of these things which don't really work for a long time. And like I said, over this period of time I've had peaks and troughs with it. Obviously Christmas, you let yourself enjoy the time that you have, and you know, in January you're back on it, and it's just been a really great way to not beat myself up either or feel guilty about not staying on track, because I know it's a lifestyle change. And I would just really, you know, my biggest advice if you're looking for, you know, health tips or how to stay on track, or, you know, like me, you've done so many different diets and things and nothing's really worked, it's find a resource or a tool that's going to help you first and foremost. That for me is the most important thing. So finding Parrot Pal, which is, like I say, the tracker, and it's the podcast, and there's a WhatsApp community, like that has been really integral to having a really positive impact on how I look and feel, and I'm so grateful for that. And so as I'm coming and approaching my second year, you know, I'm without hesitation paying for the app again. I think it was £40 for the year, but all of the tools and the resources and the community that came with it, because I'm not paying for a gym membership or anything like that, and it's just been really great to just understand like an industry expert's perspective, but also having a group of people that we're all trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to be better versions of ourselves, and you can ask questions, and you know, if there's something that you're unsure about or anything like that, then you can just speak to them, and there's loads of people that will help. And so I found that a really great motivator. And yeah, I kind of just wanted to share those things, because this isn't, you know, I haven't done Pilates 5 times a day. You know, it's a really sustainable way, but it's also very healthy, and I feel great for it. I feel more active. I know that, like health wise and from even just like recovery after workouts. I feel so much better. You know, I now choose to do workouts after my kids go to bed if I feel like it, but I also don't put my like pressure on myself to like I have to. If I want to watch a specific series or a program and actually unwind instead, I let myself do that. Like anything is good progress. And I think for me as well, there was a particular saying that was saying progress over perfection, and that just hit the nail on the head for me, because I am someone that is so specific with wanting perfection. Like I want to get to that certain point, I really want to, you know, reach certain goals. And even now, like I know I want to lose a little tiny bit more, not much more, a little tiny bit more, and then I'm going to just go maintenance mode. So then my calories are going to be back up by 500 and I can continue that. I just want to almost get down a little bit less, so that if I have, you know, days where I put on 1 or 2 pounds or anything like that, and that's another thing, is you should weigh yourself daily, and the app allows you to do that so that you can see your weekly average. Again, game changer, because if you're weighing yourself just once a week, lots of different factors go into like your kind of daily weight. So that's been a really good, again, something I never used to do. So yeah, like I can then kind of go into maintenance mode from there, and so I can just live with myself being low and knowing that I've reached my goal, and it never used to feel accessible for me. And it's just one of those that I feel like, you know, I'm someone that used to love snacking, I love chocolate, I love sweet things. I feel like I'm terrible when it comes to temptation of certain things. Like I want, you know, if something's there, I'll want to kind of enjoy it, but I've been able to do it, and I've done it so healthily, and I'm so proud of myself for being able to do that after what was a really difficult year for me in 2024. So yeah, I kind of just wanted to share that with you, because lots of people have asked in my personal life in terms of like making sure I'm okay, you know, like weight loss can be dictated by lots of different things. And like I say, I have had quite a stressful year, which I think was more of a trigger for me to think I want to just make a positive change for my children, and something that I know like I can control and be better for it. So that's been really, really good. And yeah, I would love to answer any questions that you have. There might be things that I've missed out, but it's almost not as complex as you might think it would need to be. Just finding the right things that work for you, that help you be accountable. Tracking every day for me is such an eye-opener, because even on the days where I'm like, I'm so over my calories, it's still having that accountability that like, but that's okay, like it's one day, let me just track it, because then when your weight goes up, you can see, well, no, because my calories was higher over that period. And it's just been really insightful to understand the correlation of the 3 different metrics, and just how quickly those in unison really help to make a difference. So yeah, if you have any questions, please do let me know. Like I said, this isn't my usual content, and there's not going to be any more videos that talk about weight loss. Like that's not going to be my personality now. Like this is kind of where it starts and where it ends. But I know, you know, people have noticed, and yeah, you know, like it's a really positive thing, but it's not something that I feel like I need to hide, in the sense I have, you know, I've done it in a very healthy way. So yeah, I hope that this acts as some sort of motivation for people. Focus on calories, being in a calorie deficit, up in protein, and making sure you're hitting a protein goal. Mine was 110 grams a day, which I always felt like was really intimidating, but combination of just using like protein rich, you know, breakfast, lunch, and then various different dinners, and finding things that work for you within your deficit is fantastic, that are protein rich. And you'll find a groove of it as soon as you start seeing what works for you and what doesn't. And also clear whey protein as well is great, because it's low in calories, tastes like juice, and very, very high in protein. And just steps, you know, being as active as you possibly can, making sure you go out for a walk, or you're going around a park with your kids, or even if you're watching a TV show and walking on the spot for a little while, like it's fine to do what you want to do, get in a treadmill, whatever that looks like for you. Just making sure that you find a way that's sustainable, and that's the biggest thing that I would recommend, is just finding what works for you, because everyone is so different. What works for me might not apply to you. But yeah, that's kind of my journey and my success with it, which like I said, I'm really proud of myself for kind of hitting it. Say a little bit more that I want to lose, but just a little bit more, and then I'll be kind of in maintenance, kind of as a size 10, or even like, you know, size small in some shops, which feels really, you know, really positive. And it's not all about the clothing size, and it's something that I really do believe in 100%, but it's such a great motivator when you're trying on clothes that you used to fit in that don't fit, and you're like, actually I can start seeing a change. And something I regret not doing, because I probably didn't anticipate it'd work as well as it did, I didn't take measurements, take photos. And so if you're going to start doing something like this, or you're going to embark on a journey very similar to mine, take photos, because it's so motivating. People share them on the WhatsApp group that we have, and it's so like incredible for them to actually see that like before and after. So yeah, I'd really recommend doing that as well. But yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. I'll leave kind of all of the links to things that I found really, really useful in my journey down below, because you know, if I can help at least one person find a really healthy way of losing weight or just feeling better for themselves, then you know, that's great. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I shall see you guys in my next one. Bye.